Okay. All right, I'll leave it on you, IQ.
Alright, hey guys, welcome back. This is your World Cyber Games Singapore 2011 Grand Finals. DskB Gaming taking on XtC. Again, this is a Philippine team matchup versus a Singaporean team for all you patriotic people out there. DskB being the Philippine team, XtC being the Singaporean team. I'm joined right now with our special guest, Breakycpk from Honcast.com. How are you doing?
I'm doing terrific. It's obviously early in the morning here, about 2:20 in the morning, but I couldn't be happier to be casting DskB Gaming right now, especially, and obviously XtC, another sound team from the Southeast Asian section. I was really looking forward to seeing how this event turned out, because the Southeast Asian HoN scene in general, I've really, been intrigued by, because obviously with DskB making their splash on the scene over a year ago, we haven't really had any other team do that. So, but it's good to see the scene growing over in Southeast Asia, and from what I hear, from what you were telling me earlier, it seems like the Southeast Asian scene in general is actually growing quite a bit lately.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
As we see the Plague Rider coming out for the first time, recently a lot of tournaments have come out for these Southeast Asian teams, and it's really exciting to see the scene grow and see a small boom in the community. So you want to talk about the bands real quick, Brady?
Sure thing. Let's go over the bands. Obviously, pick stage underway, so let's go over the bands. Pyromancer, interesting. Wild Soul, Tempest, Hellbringer, Behemoth, Jeremiah, Keeper of the Force, and Magmus, as I like to say. Magmus. Interesting bands. Now, again, the Southeast Asian scene, just like we see with the Australian scene, or a scene we don't see too often in, or we don't get the chance to cast too often here on Honcast. We see some different picks, different bands here and there. Like last game, we got to see a Silhouette Tri-Lane, an Emerald Warden pickup, which apparently is pretty popular. Right here, Pyromancer being banned. And remember last game, of course, both Behemoth and Jeremiah were used. Very ban-worthy heroes, perhaps, from that first game. Pyromancer, though, I got to quit. Is that a usual ban around here, or is that something different?
Who banned the Pyromancer? It was DskB. So, not a usual ban, but a usual pick. However, I'd like to see the bands go to more ban-worthy heroes, but not questionable by any means in standards, but kind of out of the way kind of ban. And the Wild Soul, we don't see any Wild Soul play here in Southeast Asia. But I know in the international scene we see a lot of Wild Soul, so.
Yeah, we do see Wild Soul quite a bit, obviously, in our scene over there. In fact, we don't see it quite a bit because he's just banned all the time, to say the least. So, but yeah, the Pyromancer ban is still kind of getting to me. And again, we didn't get the chance to see the bans last time, or the picking stage for that matter last time, unfortunately for game one for whatever reason. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case last game. But definitely several of the jungle heroes also being banned in Tempest and Keeper. What is that noise, by the way? Someone's like smacking on something. Sounds like. Anyways. Well, the picks are underway, so let's start really getting into that, I guess. So we're looking at Plague Rider, the first pick over there for DskB. No shocker there. Very powerful hero. One of the most powerful in the game, you could even argue. So solid pick there for DskB to start. XtC follows it up with Torture and Hammerstorm. So very sound picks. Nothing off the wall here whatsoever to get things kicked off. But if we, remember back to last game, DskB ran a very aggressive, almost kind of a push and gank style strategy. What they're really known for. And with Blacksmith and Polywalk Priest, I gotta think they're gonna be doing the similar thing. Blacksmith, I love to see that.
We don't see Blacksmith a lot here in Southeast Asia. I'm excited myself to see this Blacksmith pick.
Yeah, he's actually going to the Leprechaun Smith. No, he switched it! Oh god, I hope that guy has Leprechaun Smith. We gotta be able to see that with the alternate skin. But yeah, Blacksmith, not a hero again we see too often, but picked up here by DskB. Perhaps perhaps playing for the fans a little bit, despite this being the grand finals. And I'm sure they're confident in their skill level, and thus, can make some plays like this. But at the same time, Blacksmith, he definitely brings a lot to the table. It's not like he's just a bad hero by any means. He just doesn't necessarily fit the laning stage the greatest. Obviously, when it comes to a melee hero, playing him as a solo, he definitely can hold his own. He has great strength gain. But at the same time, just melee in general, if you're going to go melee solo, usually you would have like a Kraken or Electrician, really beefy style of hero that has a strong presence in the team fights. Blacksmith is more of a initiator support rather than kind of that semi-carry hero. So But really curious to see how DskB uses them here. Obviously, that Frenzy ability, one of the most underrated abilities in the game, in my opinion. And curious to see if they do pick up something like they're right-clicking right there. Maybe they were watching my scout game that I was playing before this, kind of getting some tips. No, they switched up. Darn those bastards. Instead, they go with Sandwraith, and I would not be surprised to see Mr. Swish, a.k.a. KK, playing Corrupted Disciple, if indeed that's what he chooses to go with. But choosing to go with the Sandwraith pickup now, it's been a while since we've actually seen Sandwraith in our competitive scene. But what's the deal with that here?
He's seen often right now in the Southeast Asian scene. We don't see him as often as you guys did back a few months ago when Sandwraith was a popular pick, but he's still picked up often, and for good reason. He is still a powerful hero, by all means. And right now, I'm thinking one of my conversations with Dragon about the Blacksmith and how their lanes might be setting up. He says that when picking a Blacksmith as support, it's better to dodge the tri lane because you want Blacksmith to gain a little bit of levels. You don't want Blacksmith to be lagging out behind the levels because he's just so effective with the proper levels and everything.
Yeah, from what I gotta expect though with the lineup that we see here, he is going to be part of a tri lane with Plague Rider and Sandwraith more than likely, unless they just have it's a pure roamer, which wouldn't shock me by any means, but most likely going to be really part of that tri lane. And that's the thing too, you know, when you pair up, when you have a melee hero such as Sandwraith as a part of that farm tri lane, usually you don't see them paired up with another melee as far as the support goes, unless it's somebody like that Magmus or Hammerstorm who has that ranged stun ability, or even Behemoth for that matter. Blacksmith, of course, does have the ranged stun, but obviously only being the single target still could be useful. But, you know, a hero like Andromeda instead is a lot more popular because not only does it have the single target, but has a great harassment, a lot more potential to harass, you can say. So, but looking forward, though, to seeing how DskB decides to play that. But Sandwraith, let's just say from our experience, I love the lineup that DskB built around Sandwraith, by the way. We always talk about this. Whenever we have a hero whose whole goals of this game is to just sit back and farm, you need to build aggressive. You need to build a lineup that's going to make a lot of action elsewhere, kind of distract the other team to get that guy that farm that he needs. And DskB did a fantastic job with that, I must say, with the finishing picks there, especially in that Wretched Hag. So,
building a lineup with a hard carry such as Sandwraith, as you said, you want to have a team that's able to fight 4v5 for the most part of the game, because Sandwraith, he's only going to be effective once he gets those big items such as a Mock of Brilliance.
Yeah, Mock of Brilliance, Helm of the Black Legion, that really tends to be the go-to. He really was on the competitive scene for a good 3-4 month period at least. I mean, he was just the go-to carry. And again, so the Helm of the Black Legion, Mock of Brilliance, they finally nerfed his Dissipate ability, where it used to be true damage, but they changed that to magic damage, obviously. And there was some others, I'm blanking on exactly what else. But anyways, he kind of has died off. It's really all melee, especially melee agility in general, has died off in terms of hard carries from the competitive scene, at least our metagame right now. But I'm focusing so much on DskB just because I do love them so much. Call me a homer, I don't care. But XtC, now, we were talking about this team, of course, in the last game. They are coming into this game down 1-0, remember. Obviously, this is game 2 in the best of 3, so DskB is currently up 1-0. But XtC, not a team to frown at by any means. I mean, this is a team that they've done a lot to get here. Obviously, had to play a lot of matches to get to this point, including, you guys were calling an upset victory over... Who was it over? I'm blanking.
MUFC.
MUFC, that's correct, yeah. So over MUFC in the semifinals to get to this point. So XtC, definitely a team with potential, and, you know, don't count them out, as great as DskB is.
Definitely, they are a top-tier Southeast Asian team. Make no mistake, they are here to play. And Butterfat, their usual carry, he does an excellent job on Silhouette, on the scrims and on the prior games that we've seen, so.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so can't wait to see how this game 2 plays out. Unfortunately, we are dealing with some disconnect issues, as it looks like Andromeda currently DC'd, so hopefully that's taken care of soon enough, and we can get this ready to go. But let's go over their lineup now. We already talked about the team itself, so we're looking at Torture, Andromeda, Slither, Hammerstorm, and Silhouette. So I guess they're going to run that Silhouette tri-lane again. Now, it didn't work out the greatest for them last. It started okay, I guess, but in the end, it is just, I guess for me, it's just I've never seen a Silhouette Triland other than before that last game, so it's just something completely different. But we are most likely going to see that again. Of course, Slither and Torture, that leaves them to be the two solos. I guess the goal of this game is, yet again, just going to be to get that very powerful farm on Silhouette as a result of the tri-lane, take advantage of it, a very aggressive tri-lane, and, hope to have a mid to early to mid-game victory, because this goes late game. Sandwraith, arguably one of the best hard game carries in the game, so.
Yeah, Legion team, on paper at least, they stand virtually no chance against the Hellborn team once it gets to the 50-minute mark. Again, you mentioned the Blacksmith with his underrated ability, that Frenzy. Place that on a Sandwraith, place that on a Wretched Hag. She doesn't really so strong, but coupled with the fact that she's going to have items, she's going to have that Frenzy ability, it's going to be pretty insane.
See, talking about that Frenzy, and Sandwraith, it'll be great on Sandwraith, sure, but at the same time, Sandwraith isn't necessarily the most, he pokes with the daggers like a poke, but he is more about, absorbing damage and, returning it with his Dissipate and taking advantage of his ultimate, just a lot of spread damage all over the place. I kind of would have liked to see, something like a Dark Lady even. Would have been awesome to see with that Frenzy ability coming out from Blacksmith. She activates a Dark Blades, gets that Frenzy, and she's just tearing through people. Unfortunately, though, Dustbin, the rare circumstance, they go the boring route, they go the Sandwraith route. But hey, but it looks like actually though they're going a very look at this laning strategy here. Yeah.
Basically, this I think I've seen this before by Dustbin. I'm blanking on what they ran it with, but the point is the enemy team won't be expecting this, and as a Sandwraith, that's what you just can't get the free farm. And if he's going to be matched up against Torture with Slave Rider babysitting him, he's going to have a more decent time as opposed to getting matched up with a Silhouette Triland.
Yeah. Well, that's is going to be the case up here. In fact, Slither up top right there, but yeah, Silhouette is heading bottom right now. Actually going to be running into Blacks, and it looks like decides to turn around at the last second. I believe she spotted him. I can see the ping going out, so nothing's going to happen right there. However, the middle lane, something may be a brewing. Andromeda, nope, going to be spotted by the Warded side, and not even going to try to set up for that gank. So it is going to be that Plague Rider Sandwraith. Obviously, Hammerstorm, he's already adjusted here to this middle lane, so they really know to keep this Sandwraith locked down, of course, and that is going to be mission accomplished so far for XtC. Want to be careful not to get that lane too pushed up, though, because obviously you're just really giving him farm then, and that's the last thing you want. With a Plague Rider Babysitter having that deny ability, going to be great on top of that. So it is going to be difficult to prevent the farm overall on the Sandwraith, but obviously they're going to try for it, and with a triple stun nearby, the Sandwraith does need to be very, very careful, even though he is considered somewhat tanky, and with this Desert's Curse ability, can help him get away. He does not have a stun support hero. Obviously, Plague Rider, no stun. Last time I checked, at least, maybe they changed that. I don't know. No, but he doesn't have a stun, so he needs to be careful when it comes to that initiation coming from the Legion team. But clearly, XtC, their focus is going to be on that Sandwraith, and however, that is kind of handicapping the Silhouette here at the bottom lane. I mean, she's matched up against a Blacksmith Polywog Priest dual lane. Talk about an odd dual lane right there. But I cannot see Mr. Butterfat. No.
Middle lane action going on.
Yeah, there we go. We're talking about that. A couple of stuns coming out at least. Andromeda not able to get nearby to land that Comet. And Sandwraith is going to survive. But actually, Wretched Hag now going at it with Slither at the top one. Look at Wretched Hag being played by Jojo Flo, just charging down Yin right here. Playing that Slither. Is she going to blink and going for a kill, perhaps? She does that once. Going to blink. Yes, she is. Oh, it's not going to be close enough. Activate the health potion, and Slither will survive. So still don't have that bloodlust kill. But no, I cannot say we've seen too many Blacksmith Polywog Priest lanes. Is that popular here or something?
Which one?
Blacksmith Polywog Priest?
I've never seen it.
Okay.
Even in pubs, man.
I was going to say, you're throwing me a curveball there, because you know what is a very underrated yet powerful lane? Blacksmith Slither. Now that's a freaking awesome lane. Frenzy, Poison Spray, are you kidding me? Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's true. Also, another rated support for what's the name? Blade is the blacksmith.